Welcome! Welcome to Wednesday News. I'm your host, Amit Roy. I want to tell you something interesting today about Russian battle tactics in Ukraine and usually the Communist Russian, USSR type battle tactics. And I want to compare Chinese battle tactics, how they fought against Indians, where Indians lacked in a short span. Now look, in 1947, 45, when Russia attacked Nazis, they had numerical superiority. They got a lot of people behind them. Of course, they had tanks and etc. But mainly had to depend on a lot of people following their tanks, and they were bombarding with the artilleries. That was their style. You see, they depend heavily on artillery fight and tanks. And they had people from all over the world, actually, especially from Euro-Asian part of the world. They are Chinese, they are Kazakhs, there are a lot of people from Asia, whom they, of course, there are own people from Ukraine, etc., and Russia, Belarus, etc. But Russians, Timoshenko and Zhukov, they went very hard, and there's a sledgehammer kind of thing which was used against Russians. But that time, the Germans. But that time, Germans were crumbling. When they reached the gate of the Berlin, only small kids were fighting. And Russians used lots of sort of a katsua, and when they entered in Germany, they killed and raped so many people. Of course, this is a part of the Russian strategy. Now, why I'm telling you, in Ukraine, Russians used sledgehammer techniques and with pincer techniques. That also they used against Germans. And here too, Russians used lots of tanks and other artillery pieces like rockets, etc. And they also limitedly used air power, which due to Stinger missile they had to abandon for after some times. But that time Russian army, that time Stalin's style and modern Russia is a little different. I'm coming to that in a little after that. But first I want to tell you how the sledgehammer has failed. I've already mentioned in a previous video that 3 stages. One is attack, second is siege, and third is final assault. Now they failed that. But I'm telling you why they failed that. Where they failed that. Number one, they're all conscripts. And it's a very much artillery dependent army. So they are a terrible logistical problem from carrying those armaments and arms, because they have trucks, only 4,000 trucks, where Americans have more than 80,000. So they could not carry a lot of their munitions, number one. They could not carry a lot of their fuels. They had to hire private trucks, apart from military trucks. The military trucks were not well maintained, nor their tanks. Number two reason is that they have all brought this via railway lines. And Ukrainians knew that. So the Ukrainians destroyed some railway lines and destroyed some bridges so the Russian troops cannot come. Number three, Russians wanted to have a psychological warfare. They want to bring lots of mammoth things are coming, which is very much similar to the Chinese. They want to play a psychological sabotage kind of war, buying people from inside. That didn't happen because Ukrainians also taught like Russians. the psychological warfare, sabotage, etc., etc. This is not a free country. It was not a free country. It was part of Soviet Union. So that's the reason. And finally, Russian army has no JCOs. You know, they have all officers and they have soldiers, conscript, who come for 3 years' time and serve the time and go back. So they don't have professional soldiers who can spearhead the attack. That was a very difficult part for the Russians. Secondly, you know, in a communist culture, after some time, insubordination becomes very big issue. And they try to take refuge because, you know, there is no command and control left in communist culture. Because there is no union comes and saves you. So this is a point. Russians had no JCOs and their tanks were not supported by infantries. You need infantry. Because, you know, after all, now they are holding 3 to 4 places. They have retreated back, facing lots of defensive weapons like javelin and Sitcha missiles. But, you know, now the difficult part has come. That is street fight. So here the Russians are bombarding, sledgehammering, making rubble. That creates a problem for them also. Number 3, they have Ukrainians have put a very creditable fight and they have taken out a lot of the tanks using drones and shoulder-fire javelin missiles. And Russians started defecting. So they brought mercenaries from Syria who had some kind of experience in fighting in the street. And their Kadyrov gang, Chechens, to strike fears. Like, you know, they are using, now Russians are showing their color as they did in Berlin. Mass rape, execution, etc., etc. So these are the things I want to tell you that. See, the Russians have brought their killers from Chechnya. So these are tactics. Those terror, they will use terror, the communist style. But you know, it doesn't work. There's a flagship, Moscow has sunk. The Russian moral is very low. They are talking about nuclear attack. But Boris Johnson said, if you attack once, I will attack 20 times. Anyway, now coming to India, how Indians did not understand at all 1962. I am referring Namkachu battle, where Indian intelligence even failed to recognize who was their chief adversary, whom they should target. The Chou Enlai, who was the leader of their spy gang, but they didn't realize. However, Namkachu battle, India started visualizing in the line of Burmese battle, Indian generals, but they didn't have adequate support. Burmese Chindit style, they had some kind of, I was reading that, it struck in my mind, they initially attacked Chinese brigade without knowing they're hugely outnumbered from the back like Chindits did in Burma. But that plan didn't work. And they didn't understand psychological warfare. They saw Chinese are lighting fire and Chinese are coming down. You know, this is the Indians do not even today understand the Mongol warfare, because there is no culture of researching different kind of warfare, old weapons. Today I told one man, military man, oh my God,